Here's a quick video on the custom filters I like to use when working with an Amz Quest report. I'm also going to give you guys a couple of factors to consider when selecting a private label product. This is actually going to be the first part in a series I'm doing that will sort of guide you through the entire private label process. So let's get started working with the data starting from left to right. And let's start with rating score. Now, there's a couple different trains of thought here. One is that you can set a rating score of, let's say, 4 stars or below, or 3.5 stars or below. And in doing so, you'll be able to see products that don't have a higher score for a reason. Maybe there's a design flaw. Maybe there needs to be some kind of improvement. Maybe it's too small. Maybe it's too big. So by setting that score to that filter, you'll be able to pick apart a product listing and basically see, obvious things that need to be improved. And just to show you what I'm referring to, let's say you go over to a product listing and you can see here that the rating is 3.6 out of 5. And by clicking on the customer reviews, it drops you down the page. And if you actually click on the number again, this is sort of an overview of all the customer reviews. So if I click on see all critical reviews, this will give me tons of great information on how to make a product better and give myself a competitive advantage. So by going through these, you can sort of pick apart the listings and sort of grab different ways to make a product better. Let's move on to the next column, which is going to be reviews. For me personally, I don't want to be dealing with competitors that have thousands upon thousands of reviews. I like to work with a number that's more manageable. So for me, I want to be looking at competitors that have less than or equal to 500 reviews. By entering into a new market, this number is much more manageable for me to sort of get a foothold into that market. So that number is going to be less than or equal to 500 reviews. Moving on to price, I like to sell items that are around $25. So for my filters, I like to say greater than or equal to 15 and less than or equal to 35. And you might be saying, well, why are you setting your filter to $15 in? Well, some products that are selling for less money can potentially be sold for more, whether you increase the perceived value, bundle the item, maybe your brand has more of a premium feel. So I sort of like to set these filters a little lower and a little higher so I can sort of, wiggle around a little bit to select items that, I might be able to increase the price or decrease the price. Real quick, the thing is that you're going to find sellers that are moving tons of inventory on both ends of the spectrum. You're going to have sellers that are selling a high number of units for, let's say, $10 or below, and you're going to find sellers that are selling, fewer units for higher price points. So there really isn't a black and white right answer here. It's sort of, what your preference is. And for me, that preference is $15 to $35. Moving on to BSR, as you guys know, this is a very important feature in these reports because you can sort of see how the items are selling given estimated sales per month. So I want to be looking at items that at the minimum I'm going to be able to sell 500 units a month, and there's going to be that demand. So within the pet supply category, I set my BSR filter to less than or equal to 2,000. Keep in mind that for different categories, this BSR range will be different. So again, this is just for pet supplies, and that's going to be less than or equal to 2,000. Moving on to weight, I don't want to be shipping heavy, bulky items, so I set my weight requirement to less than or equal to 2 pounds. And lastly, with number of sellers, there's arguments for and against sort of competing in the same realm of Amazon if they're selling a similar product. For me personally, it makes no difference. So for the number of sellers, whether it's just one private labeler or more than one, it just doesn't matter to me. So I actually do not set a filter here. Now, these are all my filters. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'd be happy to answer. And as always, I love your feedback. Take care. Cheers.